Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Car Wash Magazine Live. As always, I'm your host, Matt DeWolf, Editor-in-Chief of Car Wash Magazine. Hey, we've got a pretty awesome show coming up for you here today. We've got Tyler Slaughter from Camel Express Car Wash and TalkCarWash admin and Leadership Worth Following fame. So we're checking all the boxes here for you guys today. So if you've got some questions, line those up. You can post those in the comments below, and we will attempt to get those answered for you as best we can. Look, if you're tuning in, you were tuning in at the top. We tried out a little new music this week. Let us know what you think. We can always go back to my friend from college's jam that we were playing for a while, or we can switch it up. Let us know what you think down in the comments below with that as well. All right. Y'all, last week on this program, I did a little segment called This Week in Car Wash, and that is in honor of This Week in Baseball, which is one of my favorite things growing up. And if you're looking at the screen down, God, you guys, I can't do reverse, but down below me is a scrolling ticker of sorts that is what's going on in the industry, what we've received in kind of car wash newsland. And so you can see that going through there. You can also catch that at carwashmagazine.com. Guess what? There's only one way for you to get your news on that ticker. I'll give you 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count. Nailed it. Yes. Yeah, you got to send me your stuff, right? mdewolf@carwash.org. Send me your stuff. We'll get it posted. We'll get it included down here in the feed and in this program. Speaking of great news going on in the industry this week, we've got, as always, it seems, a lot of activity in the M&A space and the building space. We've got our friends Soapy Joe's out in California adding their 14th location. Miles Auto Spa in Franklin, Tennessee is moving north into Nashville. We've got the Car Wash Owners Network. They've partnered with Oki Express to expand that operation to 42 locations. And Club Car Wash adding their number 36 and celebrating that with a pretty awesome fundraiser for Children's Miracle Network. So kudos to all those groups. Kudos to all of you I didn't mention because you didn't send me your stuff. And I look forward to getting that from you here soon. Also, big congratulations. This one's special to me because I lived in Indiana for a while. Crew Car Wash in Indiana named number 2 Employee Choice Best Place to Work by Glassdoor. Awesome job on that. And then over in ICA land, we've always got news for you as well. This week, the pulse surveys went out and were analyzed. That data is available for ICA members. We've got something else I wanted to tell you guys about today real quick. Something called Pitch. What the heck is Pitch, Matt? Well, friends, I'm glad you asked. Pitch is our way to kind of digitally connect suppliers and operators in the industry. You can see here on the screen, this is a little bit of a quick look at what Pitch is. We've got one coming up for you. Go to carwash.org/pitch. You can kind of reserve your seat today for that. And then, of course, the big news really coming from ICA land recently has been the launch of LEAD. That's Leadership, Education, and Development. We could talk more about it. I've been talking about it with you all for a long time. And so instead of hearing it from me, I'm going to share from one of the early adopters of the program, Julie Petty out in Colorado.
Now we're shifting gears. We have a new program in our wash called Evolve, where we're trying to do some foundation setting with mission and values and that kind of thing. And then also giving people an opportunity to grow through leadership training. And the LEAD program was a great fit because it's not the nuts and bolts of our wash, which are specific to us and our equipment setup and our software setup. It is more about leadership. It's about how do I communicate feedback on a regular basis? How do we do regular review programs where we can assign training and grow someone's skill set, grow someone's leadership base so that they can be more effective in their role and then grow and get bigger and bigger and grow with the company as we grow.
All right, so there you have it. That's straight from one user to a whole bunch of potential users. That's what's going on with LEAD. That's why it made sense for Julie Petty out in Colorado with H2 Wow. You can get more information right down below here at carwash.org/lead. Now, last week on the show, we took a little trip to Australia with Robert Sacco from Waves Car Wash, and Robert had a really great story about how he's trying to educate customers in that Australia market about the express wash model. And I'm just going to let him tell it for you in case you all missed it.
Engage them. Don't give it away, because I used to give it away and it would only get what I call the tire kickers in Australia. They'd come in, use it, and then you'd never see them again. if you need to attract them, make the offers very attractive. They go, wow, I want to try it. So we do some really good offerings that says, well, this is great value. We get him in there, and then my staff and myself and my team personally, I get a lot of pleasure out of. And spontaneously, I'll jump in a car with a customer and say, I'm coming in, we're going for the experience together. They get shocked and surprised. They have no time to react other than say, shit, you're in my car. But they love it because I explain what everything does in my team. And then they go, wow, this is really cool.
Hey, all right, so that's Robert Sacco talking about just jumping in the car. Just jump in the car with a customer and ride along and see how that goes. I don't know how that would go for you all, but you know your customers better than I do. So give it a try if you want. Bless all of you and all that kind of thing. So that's what happened. If you missed it last week, we've got a big show for you coming up. I was going to make a really crass joke about how, you all are here for Tyler, but this is all you get and the show's over. It's not. I have a real joke for you. Always a good one or a bad one. So bad it's good. Ready? Here we go. What's the difference between a hippo and a Zippo? One is really heavy. The other, my friends, is a little lighter. There you have it. Again, you're stuck with my jokes until you send me yours. That's mdewolf@carwash.org. Without further ado, let's check out Camel Express Car Wash in Tennessee. There it was, friends. That was a point in time tour of Camel Express Car Wash in Nashville. Joining us on the program now in the flesh, Tyler Slaughter. Welcome.
Hey, Matt. Thank you for having me.
Hey, so it was funny. We were showing that tour to folks, and you were talking to me through the thing, telling me, "Yep, that's different. That's different. That's different," which I think is just like it's like quintessential Tyler. I think, and in terms of process improvement and all that, we're gonna get into that a little bit on the show today. But I want to start with for those folks who might not know you, how in the world did you come to be in the car wash space?
So in 2007, Morris and Tamisha Beck were building a little car wash in Hartselle, Alabama. I actually thought it was a drive-through oil change because express washes were just sort of new then. I walked up and asked if he'd give me a job. That's kind of where it all started. Minimum wage at the time was $5.15 an hour. So needless to say, it wasn't for the money. We opened in March 27, 2007. We had just that single site from 2006 to 2009. I went from the only employee at that site to having 5 employees, and I was the site manager. It was 66-foot tunnel with 8 vacuum spots. At the time, it did about 70,000 cars a year, but we didn't know anything about unlimited car washing, so I wish I did. We continued to grow, opening sites and converting 3 other ones that we purchased into express washes. We had 7 sites total in 2016. From when we started to 2016, I kind of grew through the ranks, helped build and develop the sites. In 2016, I was appointed CEO of the company. And then 2017, we were acquired by Mr. and my owners at that time retired.
So the owners retired. And then you end up at Camel. Like, how? I mean, you weren't even like remotely geographically close at that time. How did that happen?
Yeah, so I actually met Reed Houck in 2014 at a Brink Results Management class. We spent, I guess, 2 days at Steve Gaudreau's management class. His story is there was a guy in the corner that knew way too much to be so young. So he had to get to know me better. After we met and we just kind of clicked, he told me if I ever wanted a chance to own a car wash to let him know, because what he was doing in Nashville was going to be real special. At the time, Car Wash Express was growing. I didn't really think much of it. We had 4 or 5 more sites planned, but due to some things going on with the owner, he ended up selling to Mr. in 2017. And then Reed reached out to me again and asked what my next steps were. We had a lot of employees at the time. They were highly on my mind to make sure the transition went well. Everybody got placed. That was just that's kind of me, still is me. I learned a lot with Mr. through the transition, the kind of the corporate side of the world. But I kind of always had that. I always kind of had Reed in the back of my mind. I knew I wanted to be an owner. I worked 11 years for a company and didn't really have anything in it except kind of my pride. And then in late 2017, I finally kind of told my wife, let's go meet with Reed. So my family and I went up there. Reed took us to Martin's Barbecue, and we got to meet his wife and his kid at the time. And it just all clicked. It felt too good not to be true. The next day, I worked out the details with him and said I'd be happy to join you as a partner and operations director. 6 days later, we sold our house, packed our kids up and all of our stuff, and moved to Nashville and rented a house.
Just like that.
Yeah, it's just when they say when you know, right?
Good grief, man. I don't know that I can figure out what I'm gonna have for breakfast that quickly. And you up and you're out. Here we go. Next thing. That's awesome.
Make decisions pretty quickly sometimes.
Yeah. What was it though? Like, what was it that what was it that fit? Like, how did you know? Like, how could you do it that quickly?
So when I met Reed at Steve Gaudreau's and during the breaks and then that night at the hotel, we talked. He just has a passion for people, and whether it's wrong or right at times, he always is about the people. And that's me to a T. The ones that know me can tell you the same thing. I've always been about the people and what we do. And he sold me on that. And I guess I wanted to make sure that what he was saying lined up with Camel and lined up with his wife and kids. And I mean, today my wife and his wife are extremely close friends. We're at each other's house probably 1 or 2 times a week. It was one of the best decisions I've ever made. So it was just a feeling. All I can tell you, it was a gut feeling. I knew it was right. So I went for it.
Well, you're right. I mean, I love that story because it really speaks to the familial nature of the industry and what it feels like when you connect with people and just kind of put the whole mantra of like more than washing cars out there in the universe. And so that I think that's super cool. Let's stay on the people side of things because it is quintessential you. And it continues to show up in what you all are doing at Camel. And I think it's really kind of fascinating and something that a lot of folks could learn from. You guys continue to grow. You're doing it, I don't know the right term for it, like aggress conservatively. It's like, it's a few a year. You're like, you're growing, but you are really focused on making sure that you have the people ready before you get there. Like you have a bench. Can you talk a little bit about that approach?
Yeah, so a friend of mine, most of you know him, is Justin Salisbury. He told me something: stay 2 positions ahead of what you need when it comes to overall staffing. Before that, I thought we were in a good place with people in our bench, and then after that comment, I'm pretty sure I took it to the next level. 2 people ahead I feel like is exactly what you need per site, and we base that off per site and at the corporate level. We currently have 3 stores, but we have a 5-person corporate staff with 2 more positions that I'm about to fill. The president, which is Reed, our myself, operations director, our amazing administrative director, Amanda Workman, our brand director, which is actually Reed's sister, Sarah, and she's a graphic designer by trade. She does a fantastic job. And then our newest one, which is John Sproul. He's our hiring and training director. Most of you know him. He's been around the car wash a little while, or the car wash industry a little while, but he's fantastic when it comes to the hiring and training part of our company. And then we have a company sales manager position that we're fixing to fill. And then, of course, we're finally getting to the point to where we have 3 high volume washes, about to open 2 more, and we've got to have someone to handle the maintenance. So we're about to bring on a maintenance manager. That's currently where we sit right now. We try really hard to get to know people on a personal level and put them in the correct places within the company so they can be as successful as they want to be. It's been a lot of trial and error, but we've finally got it down well. I feel comfortable saying that. It took a while. Building the bench is a whole nother process. I feel like we're getting better and better at it every year. That's done through recruiting, 3-step interviews, onboarding and career path that we walk all the new employees through when onboarding them to kind of show them where they're at and where they can go. And then we define what we're looking for those interviews through our mission and values during our interview process.
Well, and that shows up. I mean, I'm gonna put a couple things up here on the screen for people to see at home or at the washes if they're watching. But we've got some like great photos of employees enjoying their work. Here's one of looks like the King of Car Wash. I don't know. It looks like he's got employee of the month all the time, so he's got that on lockdown. Just really, I don't know what's going on in this one. I'm going to show this one too here. Everybody's like 12 feet apart. I don't know what that is. What are we doing here, Tyler? What's everybody doing?
That was kind of right at the start of the pandemic when everybody was social distancing, and we still had to have our meetings because that's how we keep everybody in tune. And so we actually made a big pivot. We actually, at all of our sites, we have training offices where we have 9 to 12 chairs. We have a TV up on the wall, and that's where our monthly meetings are done. And for that one, we just moved to the outside, spaced everybody out, and till this day, we're still having the meetings outside or in the tunnel just for social distancing. But sometimes in business, you have to make a fast pivot, and that was one of them.
Yeah, that's the. It's funny. I'm going to show folks another picture that you shared with me. I can't tell if it's sundown or sun up, but you all are meeting outside, and it's a great shot. We're going to show that in just a minute, but let's talk process a little bit because this bench concept that requires process. It's a little bit different kind of process. There's obviously the just overall process of what it takes to wash a car and put out a good product. But
Mhm.
the more that you have those processes in place, the simpler your answers are to problems, right? So that's kind of my thinking. But why is process so important to you? Like what's your approach to it, and why does it matter?
Yeah, processes are pretty important to Camel because they break down the details that you need to do in order to be successful at your job. From an employee standpoint, we feel like processes reduce complacency and stress because we don't normally put our people in uncomfortable positions. They work side by side with someone for the first 7 to 14 days before being left to do a task by themselves. So I'm sure there's been plenty of people that have worked at jobs and they've kind of threw you to the wolves, and it's not a great feeling. And the way our processes work overall, I mean, it helps people with confidence in doing tasks by themselves. And of course, big picture helps reduce turnover, keeps people happier with their jobs. From an owner standpoint, the processes reduce chances of people getting hurt. For us, that helps ensure that we live up to our mission of delivering the greatest car wash experience every single time. Those are what's really important to me about processes and kind of streamlining things. And we have a process down to, I hate to say going to the bathroom, but when you go to the bathroom, you don't wear your mics. It's not sanitary, but we have a process for everything.
That's funny. It's like the devil's in the details, right? Like that's kind of the term, right? Like details matter.
Yes,
Devil's in
sir.
the details. Pay attention to them because those are the things that customers, whether they know it or not, they're going to notice it. I mean, it will come through in
Yes, sir.
everything you guys do. I want to. So it's one thing to have a process, to document the process, to make sure that it lives there, and you have those kind of details uncovered. But like, how do you take it down to like the 16, 17, 18-year-old kid and get them to kind of engage with it and buy into it? Like, what does that look like to get them to actually work the process?
Yeah, so that's our big kind of hurdle for 2021. We're currently underway with that. We've actually see mid 2019, late 2020. We've merged all of our paper training into Trainual, which is a digital training platform. We kind of found out that words are just words with the new generation. It's just kind of gibberish to them. Getting it all the videos and getting it all getting all the writing transferred into videos and getting it into that training program. And then that's really John's wheelhouse. But he adds funny memes and stuff in there, and it's so funny. You can sit back and watch people when they're onboarding and watch people when they're going through the videos. And I mean, they're having fun when they're going through our training manual. That's part of our core values. So we want everybody to have a good time and truly enjoy it. And what's funny is I feel like so we can track the percentages everyone's going through it, and I feel like the percentages are higher with the online training than they ever were paper. And we do training audits once a week with everybody to figure out where everybody's at. But right now, getting everything pushed into online training, that's a big push for us. And we actually just did his 90-day evaluation that we do a employee evaluation on everybody in the company every 3 months. And one of his big steps is in the next 90 days to get everything moved to the digital training.
I love that. Yeah, I love that you're talking about 90-day plans because like that's like I've said before. I hate people doing New Year's resolutions. They need to do New Year's goals, and then they need to take those goals and put them into plans and 90-day plans because you can measure that stuff. So I love the language you're speaking right now, Tyler. I love it. Hey, I have a burning question that like has been eating me up ever since I saw this hashtag, and I promised myself and anybody who who would listen that we would find out what does it mean to camel up. Did I lose you, Tyler?
My internet connection's cutting in and out.
We're losing Tyler a little bit. I'm going to show a picture of like my theory of what camel up means. This is one of the camel employees with a camel tattoo. So clearly there is a commitment to the brand, and to Tyler's point that they really love what they're doing there. They're really appreciative of the time and energy and process that goes into everything. at Camel Express, and you see that in what they do every day, and with their people, and with the way that they show up every single day. We did lose Tyler. We lost him for just a minute. We're gonna just hang tight here for just a minute to see if he can get back in. One of the things that I will say about Tyler that I really appreciate is the amount of energy and effort that he gives back to this industry. And we talk about it a lot, and it's a big driver for what makes this industry special. And Tyler, with the work that he does on the Talk Car Wash page, and the work that he does with Leadership Worth Following, I think is a hugely beneficial piece of giving back to this industry and making this whole thing, like we said, about more than washing cars. And so thank you to Tyler for that. Thank you to the other admins, Blake and Katie. Everything that you all do there is big, so we really appreciate that. Doesn't look like we're going to get Tyler back. We are waiting for just a second to see if we can squeeze him back in. This is the joy of live programming, my friends. Sometimes the internet goes out, and we just hang tight. The other thing that I'm curious about is, what does it mean? This is my burning question, and I put up a picture of the guy who has the camel tattoo for folks. What does it mean to camel up? Like, what is that?
Yeah, so it's kind of been this thing, I guess, 2 years ago. We started it, and it was just our way to tell people, like, when they're doing something right, that's kind of what we give them attached to everything, is the hashtag camel up. Or if they're doing something that represents the company or the brand really well, we get people inside and outside of work that do it. And then that tattoo you actually seen is on the owner's arm, Reed. And it's funny, you've never seen anything funnier than when the owner goes to shake the banker's hand and he grabs that, and all he sees is that huge tattoo on his arm. He's like, dude, you are bought in. And then we've actually had an employee and one other person. If anybody wants our logo, we pay for it. So we'll actually get it tattooed on them for them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. So then my next obvious question is, how many have taken you up on that offer?
3 total.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That's more than I thought. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. 3 total. So it's been pretty good, but yeah, that camel up's just kind of our, it's just kind of part of our culture. It's what we do.
That's awesome. I love that. Like, not many brands can say that their employees are getting the logo tattooed on their body. I mean,
yeah. Well, just so you know, it's just the camel. So.
All right. So it's okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Just the camel. So it's a little whatever. We all know what that means, Tyler. We all know what that means.
Yeah, because I guess at least then, if you quit or move on,
right.
You don't have Camel Express tattooed on your arm.
That's a little harder to explain. Yeah, that's a little harder to explain. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. Hey, so obviously there's a reason that people are willing to do that, and I think a lot of that comes back to what you and Reed are doing, and the owners there at Camel Express, and how you invest in your people, and how that's a big part of what you guys do. So why is this concept of helping others and giving back so big for you? And I was talking about it when we lost you for a minute there, about what you do with Talk Car Wash and what you do with Leadership Worth Following. Maybe to the detriment of, some people, I don't know, spouses might say you do too much, but I for one am thankful. So tell us why that's important. Why does that matter?
Yes, I'm pretty sure my wife's listening on this, and she's going to for sure tell you that I do too much. But I guess I've really challenged myself the last 6 months to be able to answer this question about my passion and purpose in life. I'm there, but I've still got a few things I need to define. My wife would tell you that I'm way too nice of a guy and caring/giving to most people. My friends and coworkers would tell you that I don't give up on people easily. I love to see all people succeed and do great things, because, life's short, period. You only get one chance. And for me, it's about making a positive impact on as many people's lives as I can before I clock out for the last time. So
I was just trying not to cry. So I didn't want to come back up. I didn't want to be streaming the tears from that lovely answer. Something else that gets me a little emotional is, and I didn't even know this picture was in there, but you sent some photos over for us to be able to kind of share. And one that I love, I'm going to put it up right now for folks to see. And I think this is kind of speaks to volumes. It's you and your daughter. She's got the Camel Car Wash hat on. And this is why you do everything. right? I mean,
Yeah.
what better representation of what you do every day than this for your family? And your comments about purpose and passion, that's amazing. And I wanted to share this because it's a beautiful photo, and I think it captures you and what you're trying to do, and all of that really well.
Yeah, and on the personal side of this, I mean, I feel like I do it through being a good husband and to my wife, and providing everything she needs and wants, and same thing, trying to be a good dad. You know, I never had one growing up, so I want to make sure that my kids know me for who I really am and what I love to do. And if you ever met my 7-year-old daughter, Sutton, she's one of the most giving and caring people you'll ever meet. So she's got a really good heart.
Well, Tyler, you're doing a pretty darn good job. So kudos to you, and kudos to your wife and your family, and nice job on that front. Hey, so that we can all be more like you, Tyler. What's the best advice you've ever gotten? Like, what's a little nugget that I can take home today?
So I got two. Reed once told me, "Do good for people no matter what." That has stuck with me. I think he told me that like maybe 3 or 4 months after I joined Camel. And then my previous owners, which were Morris and Tamisha Beck, I actually wrote this down so that I could remember word by word. But she said, "Life is a huge stack of stepping stones. You can't jump from the bottom to the top without stepping on some uneven stones or a few of them breaking between your feet. Work hard, be honest, and respect the people around you in order to climb to the top." And I've always just kept those in the back of my head. And, you know, when I'm looking at something that we're doing, there's a stepping stone to get there.
Yeah, that's I think super important, because we're kind of in a time now where you kind of expect to go from, like you said, the bottom to the top right away, and it doesn't work that way, and it's never worked that way. So the more that we can have that foundation, I love that comment.
Yeah, you're right. And then there was one part on that. Why helping others is big for me. You know, there's 2 other things I do outside of Camel. One is I'm the co-founder and admin of TalkCarWash, where I help create a platform where car washers can connect with car washers around the world for insight and advice so we can better our industry. And then something that's fairly new, it's 2 or 3 years old. I'm the president of Leadership Worth Following. And we all help create a nonprofit, now known as Leadership Worth Following. Our vision is a dynamic, forward-thinking program that enhances the value of car wash industry and develops successful contributors to the communities. So we're truly out there. It's a true nonprofit. There's nothing that comes our way from it other than we get to help people succeed at car washing, and that's one of the best feelings you'll ever have.
Yeah, that's way better than, well, it's not way better than dollars, but it sure does feel better than dollars.
It's better than dollars.
All right. That's fair. But
yeah, it's better than dollars.
The only difference is it doesn't feed you, right? That's it. But you can find it.
It feeds you mentally.
Yes, it feeds the soul. That's for darn sure.
Yeah.
Well, first, thank you for what you guys do at Talk Car Wash. I think it's a great community, and I think it's fascinating to kind of be plugged in there and to watch the conversations and to see how much that actually helps everybody. It's a great community. Same with Leadership Worth Following. I think it's really cool and really something that is going to have a lot of value for this industry in particular. The other thing I want to ask, because I always do, it takes some shape, whether it's what you're hopeful for this year or why in the world do you stay in car washing. For you this week, Tyler, I want to ask, what is it that you're excited for in 2021?
I'm honestly the most excited to just be alive with everything going on in the world. We asked this question at our monthly in-person manager meetings, and that seems to be kind of the gist of what everybody's thinking. And, you know, that didn't seem like it used to be a lot to ask for, but these days, I mean, the unknown's out there. So, and then I guess some other things is taking some family vacations with my wife and kids to spend some quality time with them. We had a bunch of vacations planned last year, and of course they all got axed. Continuing to develop our team and our culture at Camel Express, and work towards making our name a household name in Tennessee. That's something Reed and I talk about often. Leadership Worth Following's events that we have planned in order to keep making better contributors to the car wash industry. And then a big thing is working towards a change of perception of the car wash industry so people see it as a career and not just as a job. And then Talk Car Wash, just continuing to help people across the world, man. It's we are full steam ahead on there. Our growth is constantly through the roof, which is great. Takes a lot to administrate. There's a lot of, good and bad on both sides, but at the end of the day, I truly enjoy helping people, and that is a perfect platform to do it.
Yeah, there's no, I don't think people can even begin to understand the amount of work that it actually takes to admin a community like that with 13,000 plus people in it and requests coming every day and the questions and just making sure that that stays like a kind of like that, like a safe and positive space, right? So it just doesn't go off the rails.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Blake and Katie, man, there's no way I could do it by myself. They are great people, and they do it for free. That's that speaks to them right there.
Absolutely. Well, hey, Tyler, I appreciate you coming back on the program here for kind of like part two or round two or whatever you want to call it. But I think that the advice and the counsel is super helpful for everybody. And I just want to say a big thank you to you personally for coming on the show today.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate you having me. If there's anything we can do for you guys, let us know.
Awesome. Hey, Tyler, we'll see you for sure at an event sometime in 21, whenever it happens.
I hope so. We're ready.
That's funny. Right on. Well, hey, if you guys are watching this and you want to see more episodes like this, or maybe even ones that are whole episodes together, you can do that at carwashmagazine.com. You can do that on YouTube, or you can do it here on Facebook. And as always, when you're out there, there's only one thing you have to do, and that is keep it clean.